I hope that one of the things that you really like about my channel is that I cover loads of different teams of loads of different levels. I don't discriminate against anyone. I cover men's, women's, youth football, non-league football, Champions League football, Premiership football, and everything in between. And nothing epitomizes that quite like today's video. Wow, here we are, first pitch of the day. I haven't done a ground hopping vid for a while, but they are some of my favorites to do. Look, here we are. What is the significance of me starting the video here? At this place, at this football ground. Today, I'm going to be visiting one club from every single tier in the Scottish pyramid system, starting from the bottom, the 8th tier, all the way up to the very, very top. This is what the bottom tier of Scottish football looks like, the 8th tier. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. For YouTube, I'm visiting a different level of team through the day. So I'm starting at the very bottom of the Scottish pyramid to the top. And obviously there's a team that plays here who are in the west of Scotland, Division 4.
Who's the team?
Glenvale?
Glenvale Juniors?
Yes, yeah. I'd literally just need 5 minutes just to have a quick walk on the pitch, if that's all right.
Aye, it's all great. Just get straight right through.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much, man. Cheers. Right, here we go, here we go. Boom, right. Bit weird. I thought he was not going to let me on at first. The way he looked at me was like, what do you want to be here for? Right, so this is, look at that first pitch of the day and we're on it. I don't know if we're going to be able to get on the pitch at a Premiership ground today or in this video. I'm not sure if I'll be able to visit all in exactly this day, but if not, then I'll visit the last couple tomorrow, but it'll all be within this video anyway. But yeah, look at this. I am now on the pitch of the bottom tier of Scottish football. And let me just explain a little bit about the team first. So yes, Glenvale play here in the Scottish West of Scotland Football League Division 4. There's the West of Scotland League conferences, and then the Premier Division, then the Lowland League, then League 2, League 1, Championship and Premiership. But how good is this? Right, I'm going to touch the goalpost, get some clips for a montage, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the pyramid system itself before we move on to the 7th tier. And so as you may be able to tell, look at this plastic pitch. This will be used for not just Glenvale, of course. Glenvale will be one of the many organisations, teams that use this. This will be used for schools, the community of Paisley. When I ever come out this way, it's usually to visit St Mirren, which is like a 2-minute drive from here, but just 2-minute drive from St Mirren. If you are a St Mirren fan and you come and watch St Mirren play, why not the next time St Mirren are playing away in Ross County or somewhere really far away, why don't you come and watch Glenvale play, because they might be at home, and this is the lifeblood of football. It really is. I think of teams like this as bees, and hear me out. It sounds a bit weird at first, but just listen to what I'm about to say. So of course humans couldn't exist without bees. Bees are one of the most important species on earth. They're kind of small and insignificant when you look at them individually, but together they make up so much of what's important of keeping the planet alive. And if you think about these football teams here, Rangers, Celtic, Hibs and Hearts couldn't exist without this level of football. This is the lifeblood. This is where it all starts for young people and for fans potentially who want to come and watch football, and like for the local community and stuff like that as well. Like, it is an ecosystem football. You couldn't have just top 20 top teams or whatever, or 10 top teams within one country. You have to have the 10 at the top, then the 12 below them, or sorry, the 12 at the top, then the 10 below them, and the 10 below them, the 10 below them, the 18 below them in the Lowland League, and then the numerous hundreds of non-league clubs that are all up and down the country. It's one big ecosystem, and like humans couldn't survive without bees, Rangers, Celtic, Hibs and Hearts couldn't survive without clubs like this. There are football divisions below this, amateur football and Sunday league and stuff like that, but I think for the actual pyramid system, this is as low as it gets, especially in the west of Scotland. There is an equivalent to this level in the east of Scotland, and there is equivalent to this in the north of Scotland as well. So you've got the West of Scotland League Division 4, which this is, then we've got the East of Scotland League Conference X, which is equivalent to this in the east of Scotland. We're currently in the west, and then there is the North Second Division, of which around there's 8 clubs in this league here in the west, 11 in the east and 9 in the north. And then yeah, as we go up, I will tell you a little bit more about each pyramid level as we get there. I I know I just explained a little bit in there about Glenvale and sort of where they sit within the pyramid system, but let me put the pyramid system on screen for you right now, just so you can get some context of where they are in the grand scheme of Scottish football as well. So Scottish football is in need of a major overhaul. It had a major overhaul, you could say, just recently. It wasn't until 2013 that Scottish football had an actual pyramid system, and as a result it was impossible for clubs in regional leagues to progress into the national leagues unless a vacancy opened in the Scottish Football League. For example, ahead of the 2008-9 season, Gretna, they pulled out of the league due to financial problems. They completely liquidated as a club. Annan were allowed to just take their place. It's not like there was promotion and relegation. If you hate the Super League and what that stands for, then you'll hate what Scottish football used to stand for. The structure of Scottish men's football was amongst the most fractured in Europe. It was unique in that a lot of the adult male governing bodies were just completely separate from seniors, which was like the actual professional leagues, to juniors, amateurs, and welfarers. There's just so many different senior men's football organisations that none of them linked together, and it was all fractured and it was all a mess up until around 2013. I'm a big believer that there should be more promotion and relegation, because at the moment there is, as you can see from like tier 6 for instance, West of Scotland Football League Premier Division, 7 go down from that, whereas 3 come up from the conferences below, and it's just like so weird how that's a thing. And in the SPFL, the top 4 leagues, the worst team out of the entire professional divisions, a team that finishes bottom of League 2, are the only ones that don't get automatically relegated. It's so weird. They get a second bite at the cherry. They get to play whoever wins the Highland and Lowland League playoff, and then even then, like, the Highland and Lowland League winners might not go up because they might not win either of the 2 playoffs. So it is really, really fractured still, and there are some amazing teams that are really low down in the pyramid, and there's some not so amazing teams that are a lot higher than them, and the only way that that is going to sort itself out is if they open up promotion and relegation. I'm not saying that 6 teams and 5 teams need to be relegated and promoted from every division. Of course I'm not saying that, but even 2, 3, just to make it a little bit more open. And yeah, there's going to be teams that go down and will struggle financially because of that, but there'll be teams that come up because of that, and you cannot have an amazing football system without promotion, relegation, and jeopardy in the leagues. That is why the English non-league system is so good. The jeopardy, the amount of money you get from going to the conference, from the conference to League 2, is just huge, and you get thousands and thousands of people watching the playoff final at Wembley. Scotland could have something similar to that. They just need to open it up a little bit more. And yeah, as you can see, 8th tier takes into account the West of Scotland League Division 4, East of Scotland League Conference X, and the North 2nd Division. The 7th tier is the West of Scotland League A, B and C, the East of Scotland Conference Divisions A and B, and the North 1st Division. Then we get into tier 6, which is the West of Scotland Premier League, South of Scotland Football League, and the East of Scotland Football League Premier Division. And then towards the north of the country, you've got the North Super League, the North Caledonian League, and the Midlands Football League, before we get into the Highland League and the Lowland League. Everything I've spoken about just then is considered non-league before you go up to League 2, League 1, the Championship, and the Prem. A few of you may recognise where I am right now if you saw my Cambuslang Rangers video. Oh, thank you very much, mate. How's it going? Not too bad, not too bad. Who do you support? Ross County. Ross County, nice. What do you do living down here?
My grandpa played for County.
Quality.
He's originally from Ballintor.
Oh, right,
so
amazing, yeah.
He played for County and he also played with the Inverness teams as well. My dad's originally from Cambuslang.
Nice. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I did a video here recently, but I'm doing one today where I'm visiting a team from every tier. Right. So this is 7th tier. I'm just in the 8th, which is the bottom, and then I'm going to work my way up to like. Yeah. We'll do. Yeah.
Top of the conference.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, these are Conference B, aren't they? So, yeah. Well, I'll let you get on anyway, mate. Yeah, nice to meet you, man. Thank you very much. Oh, what a lovely guy. But yeah, I am at the 7th tier team right now, and before I tell you a little bit about them, like, you may recognise where I am. Cambuslang did a video here just recently, so I won't spend too long here, and I will include some clips that I took the other day. So we are in the 7th tier, but I just want to say a massive thank you to today's sponsor, the Mystery Football Kit Co, for jumping back on and sponsoring more videos. You may have heard me talk about them in the lead up to Christmas. Enough of you bought mystery boxes using the discount code FOOTY, so a huge thank you. I genuinely think I've built one of the the best, if not the best, football communities on YouTube. I absolutely love the way you guys support me, and the more people that use the discount code footy when I do promote things that have discount codes footy in them, the more likelihood there is of me getting sponsored by these people again. And enough people bought mystery boxes with the code footy before Christmas, so they have jumped on again. And I will include their link, the top link in the description box below. They come amazingly packaged. I got a Boca Juniors shirt in my mystery box that they sent out to me, and they are genuinely amazing. They're a great company. Their social media following is huge, so go give them a follow as well. Buy a mystery box, use the code footy, and who knows, they might want to sponsor me again. And stuff like that really keeps the channel going. So to everyone who bought one so far, a massive thank you. If you haven't bought one yet, then top link in the description box below, and footy. Cheers. Right, I'm getting beeped at left, right and centre. There's people in vans that know me. I need to get out the area before I'm mobbed by the people of Cambuslang. But yes, here we are now at the 7th tier team. They are top of the Conference B. So as I showed you earlier from the pyramid system, there is the West of Scotland Division 4. I believe that is for new clubs only this year, and that's the 8th tier. But there's also some northern and eastern sort of levels of football that are the same level as the 8th tier. But this here is the 7th tier, along with the Conference A, B and C. This is B tier, this is B conference. Even though there's an A conference, a B conference and a C conference, they are all still the same tier, the 7th tier. So it does get complicated how there's 8 teams in the 8th tier, yet there's 3 whole divisions in the 7th tier and then 1 division in the 6th tier. It gets really complicated, doesn't it? Which is why there's so much weird promotion and relegation and stuff like that. I still think they really need to sort it out and kind of find a good balance for it all. Hopefully that's what they're going to do over the next few years. I will include some clips right now of Cambuslang Rangers, who do currently sit top of Conference B. They're a fantastic club. They're so well branded, like Rangers Football Club, the big Rangers. Of course, they do have Rangers in their name here, and they are such a cool club run by really great guys as well. So yeah, I did say that if you are from Cambuslang or Glasgow, you've got to come and watch this team play. They are so cool, and yeah, they've got a great little ground here. 7th tier done, 6th tier, let's go. Look at this. This is of course the West of Scotland Football League badge, which I actually really like. It's very Premier League-esque, isn't it, with the purple and the lion and stuff like that. But West of Scotland Premier League team, here we are at Rutherglen, Glencairn. Let's see if we can get and have a look about. There's somebody here, there's quite a few people here. Apparently they're having an SFA audit here at Rutherglen, Glencairn just now, and we are now inside a 6th tier team. And look, grass, real grass on a football pitch. Don't you just love to see it? Especially up here in Scotland. You don't see it even at some Premiership grounds, so it's great to see it at a ground like this. Yeah, look at this lovely little terrace stand here. Look, in this 6th tier ground that we're in now. This is the West of Scotland Premier League, so this would also be teams like, who have I seen this season? Kilwinning Rangers and Auchinleck Talbot, of course Clydebank as well. But just have a look at this. Look, I love the black and white branding of this in and around the houses of Rutherglen, which is part of Glasgow. It's getting more towards Glasgow than what Cambuslang is, I believe, and is getting towards Hampden Park as well. We're not too far away from Hampden, so yeah, again, like when we were at Glenvale's ground earlier, which is near St Mirren. If you're ever near Hampden Park, just remember that this exists as well, a 6th tier team right near Hampden Park. And just look at this. These are the kind of stadiums that I love to see. Look, these wooden like fences and stuff. And let's have a quick look at the dugout, shall we? Just look at this. Ready? Boom, look at that dugout. That is class. You don't get that in the Prem. Nice wooden bench. There's a hat on there. So have you noticed any differences yet in the kind of size or what the stadiums look like? Of course, the very first one was more of just a sports centre, wasn't it? I wouldn't quite say that had the mystique that this had. Me as a football purist, I love to see stadiums in and around the housing, and I like to see the grass on the pitch, and I like to see these old stands and the terracing, and that you can literally just stand here and watch a game. But this club has been around since before 1900. These were formed in the 1890s, and they're still here today, and they've been through everything. Think of the amount of fans and generations who have lived and died and supported this team, and they're now here competing in the Scottish Pyramid. Of course, they were a junior team for a long time, which was completely separate. Junior, I've said this a lot, but for anyone who's new and hasn't heard this before, junior isn't a specific to the age of the players. It's just a level of Scottish football that was a men's game, but just completely separate from the senior levels, the senior ranks, and the actual like pyramid system and stuff. But now this team is part of the pyramid, so think of what they've been through: the world wars, the different prime ministers and kings and queens, and football division systems from juniors to now in the pyramid, and now they're in the west of Scotland Premier Division, and yeah, they're about mid-table, I believe, but you know, they're doing okay. Let's just hope they can survive that huge chunk of relegated teams that are going to go down this year, because even like lower mid-table teams will go down into like those conferences that we spoke about. Like I say, it gets extremely complicated, but I love these grounds. Like you can see the train going past there, that is the motorway. The amount of times I've driven past this bit on the motorway, going to Celtic or to Hampden or whatever, and I never knew that this pitch was just right here. And the gaffer did just show me around quickly as well, and look, here we are now. Yeah, Rutherglen, Glencairn FC, Hamish B. Allen Stadium. He was someone who was connected with the club, who sadly died, but they've named the stadium after him, which is a really nice touch. But what a lovely ground here, look, and it's in and around the houses of this like area of Glasgow here. But yeah, great for them just to show me around very quickly. They've got a meeting in there regarding SFA licensing and stuff like that, so there were certain areas I couldn't see, but you would have seen a little bit there from the montage as well. This is what I love, turning up at clubs. People are so nice and accommodating, especially if they sort of know who I am and what I'm about and what I'm sort of doing there and stuff. But yeah, when they just say go and look about, it's so good. Right, that is the 6th tier done. Have you noticed much differences between 8th, 7th and 6th? I know 7 and 6 are kind of similar in that they're all sort of intermingled a little bit. It does get a little bit complicated, but 8th, I guess, was very different to these two, wasn't it? That was just more of a sports centre that you can imagine the community using. Anyway, enough rambling from me. We've got another tier to tick off. There it is. We are halfway through, so I'm going to treat myself to a Lidl protein bar. Yeah, this will be the last club we visit that is non-league just now. Bowness. Never been here before. I wanted to do this in order today. I could have just stayed in and around Glasgow, sort of near where I live, and visit a team from every tier there and then just kind of stitch it all together. But I wanted to do it in order. From Glenvale to Cambuslang to Rutherglen to Bowness, and then after this, it'll be League 2. We've had a tremendous success rate so far in today's video in the amount of stadiums that we've been able to access, although it is obviously easier to access the smaller ones. Let's see if we can get inside Bowness. Obviously there's this big wall here just now, but this is the fun of these ground hopping videos, not knowing which ones you're going to get into. I actually fell in love with the Lowland League last season when Kelty would let me come to games. I went to a Cumbernauld Colts game and a Gala Ferrydean Rovers game. Then I went to the playoff between Kelty and Brora as well, and just found a real affinity with the league, and I love what it stands for, and that these teams are trying to get into the SPFL. It's still so hard for teams to get in there. Like I may have already mentioned in this video, you have to win the Lowland League and then play the winners of the Highland League and then play the bottom team from League 2. So it's still very hard to get in there. But look, as you can see here, Bowness next home game, 27th December versus Gretna. That needs to be changed, of course. It won't be that anymore, but let's just see if we can have a quick look around here. Seems fairly impenetrable, this one. I really do like a lot of the teams in the Lowland League, from East Kilbride, who I've done videos with before, and St Bonnyrigg Rose, Vale of Leven, people like that, clubs like that and stuff. So yeah, I really do like the name as well, the Lowland League and the Highland League. It really, it's very Scottish indeed. But yeah, here we go now. Look, it does seem like I won't be getting in today. at Bowness, sadly. Looks like their pitch is a plastic pitch from here where I'm standing right now. Yeah, it looks like a really nice ground. Look, they've got this big stand just here next to the impenetrable wall of Bowness. But it's absolutely Baltic around here, it really is. I've got my winter jacket in the car. I didn't really need it earlier on, just needed my hoodie, but oh, we're at Bowness now, which is near the water, and it is so cold. But yeah, we're about to head to a League 2 team, the first SPFL club of the day. This is a very special stadium for me. Let's go into the stand and I'll tell you why. I'd lived in Scotland about 6 months, maybe closer to a year before I'd actually been able to watch a game here. I'd made loads of videos at a load of clubs. I did a ground hopping video where I actually visited Stenhousemuir and kind of got into where I am right now. And then fast forward a couple of, like a year or whatever, and I've been sat here in the press box a few times. The chairman, Ian, who works here, of course, the chairman, he reached out on Facebook when he'd seen my very first ground hopping video where I visited Stenhousemuir back when I was trying to visit all 42 SPFL clubs. He reached out and said, why don't you come down for a game? I really appreciated that because not a lot of clubs were doing that for me at that time. Well, like I say, this was the first one to let me come and watch a game. And this right here is the first place where I watched a Scottish football match. I'd never seen a game in Scotland before. Now, of course, I've been to Hampden a few times, Ibrox, Celtic, and loads of other non-leagues as well as here, and places like Celtic Hearts, all really good favourite clubs of mine. But it's always the ones that have treated me very well, which I really appreciate the most. And Stenhousemuir is one of them. They're currently in League 2. I've been here in the winter, I've been here in the summer, and yeah, I'll overlay some clips of some of the times that I've been here at Stenhousemuir, and they are really lovely, welcoming club. And what I like about them, and I don't just appreciate them letting me in just because it helps me in my channel, but I think they realised that when fans couldn't come to games, that it was really important that they found ways to connect the fans to the clubs, and like obviously no one could come and watch them play. So what better way than obviously inviting the main journalists that would come from radio stations and newspapers of the area that would always come to games regardless. But what other better way than to keep them connected through someone's YouTube channel like mine, where I can come and make a video of the day and show people a bit of the action and show people a little bit about what's going on, maybe get an interview of one of the players or the manager or something like that as well. So yeah, really appreciate what Stenhousemuir are doing, and they're a fantastic community run club. And yeah, the first ever stadium that I ever saw a Scottish football game in, and this is part of my journey today. We are now, of course, part of the SPFL. This is League 2, and here we are, the lovely pitch that is here at Ochilview Park, Stenhousemuir. These aren't just one of my favourite teams in Scotland, they are one of my favourite teams in the world, honestly. What a great club they are for allowing me to come to my first ever game. But yes, we are about to leave here now and head to a League 1 team. I think the next stadium you'll start to see a little bit of a difference in the size of ground as we start to move up through the top 3 tiers of Scottish football. Scottish football fans, what are your thoughts on the pyramid? Before we go and check out a couple of the bigger stadiums that we're going to see today, one of which is right in front of me now, and it is massive for the league that it's in. What is your suggestion for change in the football pyramid? How would you like to see it change? Where are your club in the pyramid? Have they been shafted by the weird rules and playoff systems that there are? Yeah, let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Just look at this. There's Falkirk, there's a groundsman in there. A huge stadium, as you can see. Massive, tall structure here. 3 stands it is missing 1 stand, but yeah, it's a really big stadium, and for the level that it's at, Falkirk are very underachieving, you could say, in League 1. They're not doing good in League 1. They pretty much threw it away last year. They were actually doing really well right until the end of the season. They just completely bottled it, I think, and are in League 1 now, but they're a massive club and should probably at least be in the Championship, if not pushing for Prem. And the montage you just saw would have been a mixture of clips I've just taken now and from when I was actually here to have a look around the ground. And look, as you can see, like, that is absolutely huge, by far the biggest stadium that we've seen today, and it kind of goes along with the fact that we're moving up the divisions now that you start to see stadiums like this. Falkirk did used to play at a ground called Brockville, I believe it was called. A bit more of a classic ground in the town, whereas now, look, this is like a stadium that's like just plonked out in the middle of the main road somewhere. Like, it's near the Kelpies, the big horses that you may or may not have heard of before. But yeah, look at that. I mean, it's an amazing structure. It's a great stadium. Look, they've got the like LED lights behind the Falkirk logo there, with the spire of the badge as well. But it does make you think that maybe they were better off staying at their old ground for atmosphere, but to come here for the facilities. They do have a fantastic stadium, and they have been up in the Premiership and in the Championship in recent years, you know, in not too far away years. But yeah, at the moment they are kind of languishing in League One, and I know this is a club where the fans are wanting to get back to where they belong. And yeah, they're probably one of the biggest teams in League One right now, I'd say, in terms of like their stature. Their league position wouldn't make you think that, but you know, there's Airdrie who are doing well at the moment in League One, Queen's Park, Cove Rangers, clubs like that. So yeah, League One's really exciting this year. There's some big teams in there, one of them of which here is Falkirk with this massive stadium. And yeah, we're about to head across the water now. I think they're quite big rivals with the next club, so I'll see you down there very shortly. We're at the penultimate tier of this video now, the second tier, the Scottish Championship. And just look at this, look at that, the badge. I have visited the site at which this tower exists, or used to exist. There is probably about this much of it left now. All of this part of it is gone, but there used to be a tower not far away from here, probably like 10-15 minutes away from the actual stadium here, where I think the King of either England or Scotland used to live in this very tower here, or something along those lines. And there is this tree is to represent the park, and this green is to represent East End Park, which is the stadium that is here, which is Dunfermline Athletic FC. And look, there you go, Rangers as per usual everywhere. You see their stickers, don't you? As you can tell, we are really sort of getting into the top echelons of Scottish football now because of who's been involved with this club here. Glenvale, that first club we saw, no one massive is going to be involved there, no one huge is going to have played there. And then we went to Cambuslang Rangers, where, okay, Andy Gorham is the current coach there. And then we went to Glencairn, where, Rutherglen, Glencairn, where I'm not sure if they've had any like huge names. And then yeah, the League One, League Two teams or whatever would have had some fairly big names. But Alex Ferguson has played for Dunfermline Athletic. Jock Steen has managed Dunfermline Athletic. So you've got some really massive names who have been associated with this club, and they have even been, you know, in the top tier not that long ago. So they are a huge club. They are struggling this season, sadly, but yeah, here we are now in Dunfermline, and this is kind of one of the bigger teams that you'd think about when you think of like the second tier in Scotland. There was a season where Rangers, Hibs and Hearts were all in the Championship, and the Championship looked more like the Premiership than the Premiership, whereas now I think you do see like the bigger teams in the Prem, which is obviously a good thing. But I'd say that Dunfermline, I'm trying to think who else is in there just now who's doing well. Killy, of course. Arbroath are having an amazing season, but just through what they've won and some of the players that have been here, I'd say that Dunfermline are probably one of the biggest teams in Scotland. I don't want to open myself up to too much ridicule there with that statement, but I think a lot of Scottish fans would agree that Dunfermline are a massive club. And how have you found the transition in stadiums, up from Glenvale today at the very first stadium we went to, through some of the non-league ones to Stenhousemuir, Falkirk, and now of course rivals of Falkirk, Dunfermline. Is there quite a big rivalry between Dunfermline and Falkirk? Let me know in the comment section below, everybody. I'm sure that there is. And you can just tell how grim it is at the moment. Like, the colours on my vids are just so grey. But, you know, what can I do? It's just that time of year right now, and it's coming up to 2 years since the channel sort of started and I started gaining some traction. I had to come home from Europe, the trip I was on. And it's funny because when I was doing a Dunfermline history video once, I still couldn't go inside. It was at the height of lockdown or whatever, you couldn't go in anywhere. I was mentioning that they got to a European Cup semi-final, not the European Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup semi-final. They were one game away from playing Barcelona in the final. Like, even from here, look, you can see a bit of the stands from there, like the floodlight and stuff, but they were just one game away from reaching the final against Barcelona in the Cup Winners' Cup. And on the run, on one of the runs in their European successes of when, you know, Farm and Steen were their managers in their sort of golden years of the 60s or 70s or whatever, that Dunfermline played a team called Slovan Bratislava, and that was the last game that I went to before I moved back to the UK during all the lockdowns and stuff. And then it wasn't until, I think it was Penrith in England in the summer, and then Stenhousemuir a little bit later, but pretty much it was like, yeah, Slovan Bratislava, who had actually played against Dunfermline, was one of the very last games that I came to when the world was still normal. And here we are, you know, about 2 years on from there, and I've still not left the UK. Travel is such a massive part of my life, and I hope that this year I can get out there and get to more foreign stadiums and foreign countries. I've covered so much of Scotland, I love it, and will continue to do so. I want to cover way more of England and Wales, and I get a lot of requests for Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland as well. Dunfermline v Hamilton, 15th of Jan. The halftime show of that is going to be an interview with yours truly, with me, with Footy Adventure. So yeah, go and make sure you sign up to Pars TV and watch the game, because yeah, your mate Footy Adventures will be on the halftime show. It's getting very, very grey and depressing out there right now, so by the time I get to the last stadium of the day, if I was to do it now, the lighting would be terrible. I want to get a good thumbnail there. I need to get the big team in the thumbnail, of course, for views. You know how it is. So I'm going to call it a day for now, but I'm going to get up bright and early and take you to the very last stadium of this video then in the morning. Let's hope it's a nice sunny day. See you in a sec. Believe it or not, Rangers are one of 2 clubs in Scotland to have part of the building listed. Again, I've spoken about this before, but the other one is a Lowland League team, Gala Ferrydean Rovers, a place that I have been before, and they've got a really strange, unique stand made by some famous old architect, and as do Rangers here with their Archibald Leach main stand, who also built parts of Highbury, Craven Cottage, Ayrsham Park, Stamford Bridge, Goodison Park, amongst many, many more as well. But yes, these are the champions of Scotland now, of course. They won their 55th league title, and they are the most successful club in the world, if most reports are to be believed. Or it could be Al Ahly in Egypt. It depends if you count things like Charity Shield, Super Cups, that kind of thing. But Rangers do pride themselves on being the most successful team in the world, and I couldn't not finish the video here, or I could have also finished it at Celtic Park, the home of the 1967 European champions. I find it amazing how in Glasgow, in Scotland, quite a small country in footballing terms, of how they've done in the past, you know, 50 years or whatever, internationally, through club football, all that kind of stuff. I find it incredible how you've got here in Scotland the most successful team in the world in Rangers, plus the former European champions in Celtic. For anybody who is just straight up negative about Scottish football, they're either ignorant to the facts or they're just being deliberately dour just for the sake of it. But if you really look into it, I mean, we've been in this video from the 8th tier all the way up to the most successful team in the world and the former European champions. There are so many amazing stories to tell, and while yes, there are definitely improvements to be made in the pyramid system and in the football system in general here, and the amount of money and the way it's broadcast, etc. There's loads of things that could be changed about Scottish football, but if you just look at the negatives and don't look at the positives, it doesn't paint the picture of which Scottish football really is, which is an amazing league full of history, an amazing system full of history rather, full of amazing clubs, and most importantly amazing fans and amazing people. Talking of amazing people, a massive thank you to everyone who's watched this video to this far. If you could remember to hit that like button before you go, that would be fantastic. Please also subscribe if you're new, and let me know if you'd like me to do more ground hopping videos. The next few videos will be from England, specifically the northeast. I've got some really exciting stuff, but for now I'm going to leave you here with Celtic Park. Look at that, a wonderful, lovely day here. I did say that today might be a bit nicer than when I left you at Dunfermline yesterday. A huge thank you for watching. There's some videos on screen right now. Please click on one to carry on watching. Thank you very much, and goodbye.